Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back. It's Claytano. Thank you so much for tuning in as always. And back by popular demand, we have the How to Build series. And today we'll be featuring the Nature Valkyrie, aka ROTA. And in this series, I basically go over everything about the unit, from the skills to how to gear it early game and late game, along with what units to pair it with, where it's used, why it's used there, and potentially some replacements as well. Now, if you are new to the channel, just keep in mind I do give away one gift card every single video. As long as you're subscribed to the channel and also comment on the video, you're entered in to win. So that's really easy. And one thing that you guys might want to comment on this video, just to give you guys a little tip, is maybe the next unit that you guys want to see featured in the How to Build series for Untitled Champions. All right, so to get into it though, let's first start off by the skills. Okay, let's take a look at the skills first. Now, the first skill here is called Zap. It doesn't actually do really anything on it, no debuffs, no buffs or anything like that, unfortunately, but it does some pretty nice damage if it starts to bounce around and you are built on a damage build. Okay, don't get me wrong. So it shoots lightning at an enemy from a distance. Every third attack bounces, hitting a maximum of 3 enemies. If you've ever seen it, it like shoots to different people around. It's pretty cool looking. I don't mind it at all, but it's just a basic attack, so we can't be too picky about it, okay? Now, the first skill is called Rending Bolt, and this is actually pretty nice. So it conjures a bolt of lightning to strike a target location, damages enemies, and lowers defense. Okay, the reason why this is nice is because in a lot of boss raids, whether it's Elder Drakes, whether it's the Bull Demon King or whatever it might be, especially those, it's really important to have lower defense on. Lower defense is probably one of the main things that you want, aside from ongoing damage, okay? So lower defense, to give you guys an idea, like say, take the light Bull Demon King, for example. That one has really high defense, where if you're not doing ongoing damage, you're really not going to do any damage unless it has a lower defense on it. So this unit is probably pretty good for that because it does lower the defense, but there are some other units that also lower defense. So like I said, we'll kind of keep in mind things that we can replace it with and potentially some things that we can pair it with. Now, it also does bonus damage based on attack speed, so keep that in mind as we go to the build portion of the gear. As far as the second skill, technically, it is Twister, and it summons a tornado and sends it forward, damages, lowers attack, and pushes back all enemies in its path. Lowering attack is a really important skill or debuff for bossing as well, because the less damage they do, the more your team is going to survive, obviously, and it makes a huge difference if the boss is attack broken. Basically, it makes a huge difference. You guys have no idea. It can make the difference between your team getting one shot or like taking like half health HP. Like, it's so important how buffs actually affect the boss in Untitled Champions. So that's a really good skill. And then it also does bonus damage based on attack speed. So not only does the first skill, but also the second skill. And then Tempest is just the kind of icing on the cake, and it summons a massive gale to aid her allies, raises the attack speed, and lowers skill cooldowns of herself and all nearby allies. So raises attack speed. That skill alone, paired with her other 2 skills, just says like everything just works really nicely together. I'm not gonna lie. And the fact that it also lowers the cooldowns of herself and all nearby allies is super important, okay? Because lowering cooldowns, I'll say it again, is like the most important thing that you can do in this game, because not only do you do more damage because you do more skills, but you also sustain more because you have more healing skills that are happening from other units that you're pairing it with, okay? So honestly, I think this unit is like very well put together, and that's why so many people use her. She's also farmable from the nature dungeon if you guys don't happen to have the luck to summon her from a rare disc, and you can also get it really luckily from a common disc as well. But honestly, you can farm her. I would say the best way is probably just the rare discs and you know, do a couple of those and you guys are good to go. But the funny thing about this one, I'm pretty sure it's a typo. It does damage plus 50% on the first skill up for the Twister skill, and I think it's supposed to just be either 5% or 10%, one of those two. I don't think it actually adds that additional 50% bonus. As far as the gear is concerned, it's pretty basic. I would say when you're first starting into the game, it's best to go with Vital times 3. So Vital is the HP one that gives you 15% HP. It does say the gear recommendations later on down the road are skill cooldown time plus 30% or minus 30% plus the Vital max HP. As far as that's concerned, I would say, okay, I'm going to go over like the best possible scenario for the Nature Valkyrie, and I would say that accuracy is really important. So if you wanted to build it with Adept and also something along the lines of Precise with attack speed shoulder pads, because that's the only gear that you can actually have attack speed on is your shoulder pad. So use attack speed shoulder pad and then put on something like either HP, or if you really wanted to get crazy and wanted to see how much damage she could do, I would say either crit damage and attack percent. But if you can have like late game gear, this is 6-star legendary gear, attack speed, crit damage, and attack percent with 60% plus accuracy, and also having somewhere along the lines of like 45,000 HP and probably like 700 defense by going to info. Like that is your end game goals if you're trying to run her as like one of your like super powerful dungeon running teams for Elder Drake and just wanting to run through it, do as much damage as you possibly can. That's definitely an option for you guys. But early game, I would say keep it simple, keep it with the Vital times 3 because you're not going to have Adept runes or gear, and go with, honestly, attack speed isn't really going to be that important because you're not using her as a damage dealer. You're going to be using her as a support unit. So I would say don't even worry about attack speed. Go with like HP percent there, HP percent there, defense percent there, or HP defense accuracy. Just make sure you guys get your accuracy up as much as you can. This is obviously not a good bracer because it has 200 flat HP. So you definitely want a percentage on your bracer. This is just like the set that they gave you in the, I think it's like your pack that you get normally from the pre-registration pack or something like that. But yeah, definitely go with tankier stats with high accuracy. If you could do it without doing accuracy on your bracer, then absolutely do it. If you can't, then make sure you put on your accuracy on your bracer, because this skill right here, lowers attack, is super important. And this skill is less important when you're bossing at an earlier stage, but still very important because you can get this skill from a unit that you want to pair with her, which is the Light Boon Sister. But this one is something that not a lot of units do when you're first starting out and trying to build your Elder Drake team. Something that you could do maybe mid-game is like I said, not having accuracy on the bracer and instead going with HP on the bracer and like going Precise on it instead. Whatever you guys want to do, just make sure you guys get like somewhere as close to 45,000 HP, as close to 700 defense no matter what, and then 60% accuracy. And then everything else, if you can get like super fast, super good damage, a lot of crit damage, a lot of attack, then by all means go for it. But that's like, if you can't get those stats, then you still need to be working on getting those stats first and foremost before everything else. All right. And aside from that, I think one of the good replacements that we said previously was actually another unit that we showcased in the series already, which is the Dark Ranger. And the reason why the Dark Ranger kind of replaces it is because it has ongoing damage, which is pretty important. And then you also have the raised attack speed instead. And you have to get the other debuffs from other units. So if you pair it with like a Xenia instead, you still get that defense break, but you get the ongoing damage with the cost of losing the attack break and the skill cooldown reduction. Not to mention that ROTA also has her ascended form, which is ROTA, and she lowers the skill cooldown time of all other nature allies by 19%. So if you're pairing it with something like Mojo, or maybe even the Nature Naga, or something along those lines, then it's actually super good as well. But aside from that, guys, that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully it helped. If it did, go ahead and leave a like. And aside from that, guys, thank you so much. Stay soupy, don't be potatoes, and I'll see you guys next time. All right, peace. I run away.